So the Wolfey Vgc Smash Brothers Pokemon Invitational thing, I don't exactly know the formal title, was yesterday, and I ended up making top cut in, I made it through my pool 2-0, and then ended up losing to the champion of Mr. Ludwig, of course. And I just wanted to go over my team. I have the rental ID right there, of course, so y'all can check it out if you want. So I wanted to go over my team really quickly. That, of course, thank you to Edu, my coach. You can check him out on Twitter. It's going to be linked down below. It'll probably be on the screen right now, for helping me make this and, kind of tweak it from, I think there was like the Champions tournament thing that happened recently. Someone ran Pikachu, and so we kind of tweaked that team, and then I changed a little bit of things to make it more comfortable for me since I'm not a super top player. But anyway, let's go. So the first thing, of course, I wanted on my team was Pikachu, because Pikachu busted, and then that's just kind of the meme of my channel. But Pikachu, of course, is pretty good in this game. So, he's able to paralyze all the Pokemon, assuming you don't run into an electric type, or, you're trying to hit into a ground type. The grass and the water moves kind of just cover some things, like mostly Gastrodon, and the Surf actually has an interesting little quirk that I'll run into in a little bit. Of course, Pikachu with Light Ball is still incredibly strong just because it doubles his attack, basically, or his special attack, which is the one you're going to be using. He's just really good for speed control because paralysis. He's very squishy, though, so it's kind of hard to protect him, which is why, honestly, the MVP of my team, which is in the bottom left, is going to be Togekiss. Togekiss has the most synergy, I feel like, of all the Pokemon on this team, because leading Togekiss and Pikachu is amazing. Togekiss Excadrill, Togekiss Gourgeist, Togekiss Arcanine, even Togekiss Snorlax was good. Like, basically, if I had Togekiss on the field, I felt good about my chances. Follow Me is amazing for redirection, so I could set up Trick Room, so I could protect my Pikachu, so I could set up Belly Drum with Snorlax, so I could just get some big damage with Excadrill if I wanted to. Of course, Dazzling Gleam, Yawn for the, scary, Dynamax Pokemon because it would make them falter. Safeguard being really good for statuses if I ran into someone like, it ended up being like Ludwig, where I used it to kind of stop some sleep powders and things like that, but it was very, very useful. Great set IMO. Togekiss, just an incredibly strong Pokemon, and of course there is a more offensive version. I know Hugs was running one, but either way, I loved Togekiss. Actually, my favorite Pokemon of this entire set, and really just let a lot of characters shine, and there's so much synergy. So as I mentioned, the Follow Me is just going to be good. Togekiss, very bulky, but a couple of other things, I have Earthquake on my Excadrill, which allows, obviously, me to shoot out Earthquakes as Excadrill, and then my Togekiss will avoid it because it's a flying type. Sorry, I'm kind of sick a little bit. Mostly that, and mostly just like redirection and kind of like making people second guess themselves, because Togekiss is just so good in general. I don't think I Dynamaxed it once. I didn't really Dynamax it in practice either, but it is still incredibly good. Another really interesting thing of note I want to talk about really quick is Pikachu and Excadrill, because, as you see, Excadrill is running weakness policy, so if I use Surf as Pikachu, first off, it does a decent amount of damage to my opponents. I was actually planning on doing this against Ludwig, and I second-guessed myself, because I should have done it because he ended up switching into Rhyperior. I would have got damage with Pikachu, and then had a +2 Excadrill kind of shoot off something, although I think my Excadrill fell asleep in the first turn, so I don't exactly remember, but it could have been something. It could have been something, I swear. But I just think that's a pretty interesting, little thing, because making Excadrill +2 off of the weakness policy is going to be scary, because Excadrill can definitely sweep if you, Dynamax him especially. So it's very, very good Pokemon. Again, Excadrill super solid. Mold Breaker gonna allow, me to hit Levitates, although there weren't that many Levitates this tournament. I think it was basically just the Rotoms and the Bronzong that Mewtwo King had, but I didn't end up playing any of them. So unfortunately wasn't really able to use that, although there was, I think, a Tyranitar that I fought, so maybe, the Sand Rush would have been a little bit nicer, but Mold Breaker is still going to be very good because I'm running that Earthquake, I feel like, especially. Snorlax and Gourgeist also have some, synergy, because Darkest Lariat and Trick or Treat. Trick or Treat actually one of my favorite moves of the entire set, because it allows you to get Ghost typing on anything you want. Darkest Lariat going to be a Dark move, super effective against Ghost, so I was basically able to hit super effective on any Pokemon I wanted. And also, although I did not do this in the tournament, if there's a Fighting type Pokemon that I'm scared of, or I'm scared they're going to try to OHKO my Snorlax with Fighting type, I can Trick or Treat my Snorlax itself, and then, it would be ineffective, or not, it wouldn't work on the Snorlax, which I think is really, really cool. Of course, more standard set, Belly Drum. I mean, I know some people run, I think, Facade instead of Darkest Lariat or something like that, or maybe instead of Body Slam, just in case I get burned or something like that. But I feel like the Thick Fat, in general, if people notice that, like the damage calcs, although I don't know if the players that we were playing were good enough to notice damage calcs, because I know I wasn't. That's not shots at them, that's just our inexperience overall. You know, it was just really fun. The belly drum recycle and the, you know, Gigantamax body slam was going to make me get my berry back at 50%. It was really fun. I do think the weakest part of this team, in my opinion, was Arcanine, or maybe I just don't know how to use it as well, because Hugs and Plup used it to great success, but I guess I'm not patient enough to just spam Snarl and Will-O-Wisp. But also my team is kind of squishy, I feel like, because Pikachu's very squishy. I didn't feel like Gourgeist really had a lot of staying power, and Excadrill can be squishy if I'm not Dynamaxing him. So basically, it's really difficult to keep a lot of these Pokemon alive, I feel like, so I never really felt comfortable playing super defensive and being like baiting and switching and trying to do that type of thing. So I really didn't find a place for Arcanine except for maybe Intimidates, and then, oh, there's a Grass type, or oh, there's a Steel type. But again, I didn't really run into that many, except in the Alpharad match where I was able to use Flamethrower and Will-O-Wisp on like the Lucario and Whimsicott and things like that. But overall, I thought this team was a lot of fun. Let me know down in the comments below what you think could be improved on this team. I'm not saying that it's perfect, of course, because I did change stuff. You know, some of the changes that I made just for me to be more comfortable was originally Excadrill didn't have Rock Slide. He had whatchamacallit, he had Swords Dance, so it was able to get an innate +2. You didn't have to use the weakness policy, but I wasn't comfortable playing defensively enough and really like using things like Yawn and, you know, maybe Snorlax next to him so people would focus on that to really be able to get a Swords Dance or maybe like predict switches, and I didn't really feel comfortable, so I wanted Rock Slide. I wanted, you know, just rock typing, because that's literally the only rock move I have, and I don't really have a lot of answers to flying types other than Rock Slide and using Pikachu, but again, that's very scary because Pikachu is incredibly squishy. So I did change those things. The Earthquake was actually supposed to be a high horsepower. I kind of just messed up when I was changing what my Excadrill was, so that's kind of my bad. Other than that, you know, maybe Arcanine could be a different Pokemon, you know, that covers some things a little bit better. I don't exactly know because I'm not experienced enough. You know, actually, the second most underwhelming Pokemon, in my opinion, overall for this team is going to be Pikachu, and I love Pikachu, but I feel like speed control in this game, you know, I could have had, let's say, a better Trick Room or like a harder counter to it, like maybe someone that had, whatchamacallit, what's the move that you, Taunt, something like that to stop Trick Rooms, as opposed to having to rely on paralysis and flinches and things like that, because that kind of hurt me in the Ludwig match. Was that I got the paralysis and I rock slid, and then Trick Room came up anyway, and I lost the game and I wasn't able to get any of those proxies, which was kind of unfortunate for me, but at the same time I can't be mad that my luck didn't work, I guess, because I could have just been playing something better. I could have, you know, done what I did game 2 where I had Trick Room on Gourgeist and things like that. But overall, I do think this team was very solid. I don't actually remember my Zane game that much because that was very hectic. I was very nervous. It was the first set. You know, Zane, of course, ended up getting second to the tournament, and I ended up beating him. So I basically beat the second best player, lost to the best player, and then beat Alpharad. Although I think the Alpharad versus Zane set could have been very interesting because Alpharad had to leave because he had plans or work or something like that, so he didn't actually play the losers finals. But overall, I am very, very happy with this team. Again, maybe I could have, instead of Thick Fat Citrus Berry, I can have the Gluttony and a different berry on Snorlax to make Belly Drum a little better and the Recycle a little bit easier, make it be a bit bulkier of a Snorlax, which is something, again, that I was struggling to really feel like I could do in this team in general, and I mentioned that. And again, that could totally be because I'm inexperienced in Pokemon, which makes sense because, again, I really haven't played that much. I played literally as my flight got delayed 8 hours last night. I didn't sleep last night, and I was just basically grinding this team for hours and hours and hours, and I wasn't doing particularly well. I started doing a little better once I changed the Excadrill, but I did get a little bit more of a kind of feel for it, which is basically Togekiss is broken and pair things with it that kill things. Like, it's basically Togekiss and a sweeper, whether it's going to be Excadrill, Snorlax, or Pikachu, and then depending on the type of Pokemon that your opponent has, if it's a Trick Room team, maybe bring Snorlax and Arcanine, or Snorlax and Gourgeist. But it was just a lot of fun, and, you know, I really think, you know, of course, thank you so much to Wolf and to Josh, whatever, for, you know, holding this event. Thank you to everyone that was a part of it, whether it was the casters, whether it was the VGC stats people, whether it was, I think, False Swipe Gaming was part of it, of course, Panda Global. You know, I want to thank everyone for making this possible because it was really fun. I liked this crossover. I think that each person had a lot of fun with it. Pokemon is a very fun game, although, of course, it is not going to be my main game. I probably will not be going to regionals or anything for this game, but it is definitely a lot of fun. So again, the team is right there. The team I already, if you want to check it out, if you want to play this team that got me into Top Cut at the Wolfey Vgc Pokemon / Sword Shield / Coach Invitational thing. So again, it was a lot of fun. I'm really happy that I hope that if it happens again, that I'm able to partake in it, maybe with a little bit more preparation, because I wasn't able to prepare as much as I would normally because I'm, busy moving a lot of stuff, and I was visiting my house in Orlando, which didn't have internet, with my fiance, and we were kind of like getting things for the house and spending time with each other, so I didn't really have time to, and I would do it again, like that is the correct decision, like I'm not mad at her or anything like that, but, if it's a real serious competition that I'm like taking seriously, I probably would prepare a little bit more for it. And of course, now is going to be the beginning of the Smash season, so I will be focusing very hard on practicing for Glitch and Genesis and the future tournaments. As always, social media, PANDA, and partner stuff is down below, and I will see you all next time.